All right. Hi, Katie. Oh, actually, before I say hi, Katie, and you say hi, Amberly, and we go through that whole situation, I just want to tell everybody that today I am interviewing Katy Frankie from Katy Frankie Coaching. And the most impressive thing about Katy is if I were giving away awards in the academy or the mastermind, she wins, has the most children. So if you're watching this, then you see I'm actually like all in mom volleyball mom gear. We're recording this podcast pretty impromptu. I think we scheduled it yesterday. And I'm like, if there's anyone I can show up to a video call with in volleyball mom attire, it is going to be Katy Frankie. Actually, it could really be anyone that I work with because they're just the most precious and amazing people, and I'm so grateful. But I brought Katy on today to talk with y'all about her experience as a coach, her certification experience, her background, just kind of her story. And then, of course, she's going to share with you her experience in the academy and her experience with the material and the curriculum and my coaching and what that changed for her. So much so that when I launched the 90-day accelerator mastermind, she was like, oh, you can actually tell that story in a minute, Katy.
Okay.
And she is actually joining the next round as well. So I would just love to hear all of your information. I know for me, one of the things that I struggle with the most, I feel like in my business is and it will get there, I know, is I actually haven't created the bandwidth to take all of the amazing information that my students share with me about the program and put it into the hands of my audience through this podcast, through my email, through Instagram. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much that y'all have to say that I just honestly can't get around to getting it out there. And I try to like take a screenshot of something that's posted in the Facebook group or messages that I get, but that's just me not doing a very good job. So have a listen today to this conversation with Katy, and we'll just share it with y'all. Everybody always loves when I do these, and I haven't in a while. So thank you for impromptuly coming on. All
Well,
right.
thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Take it from here. Tell us all the things, and then I'll just basically interrupt you.
Well, you tried to make this not super impromptu. I know you emailed me. It took me like over a week to respond, I think, because 7 of my 9 children were sick. And
I didn't even ask you because I didn't want to know. Please tell me that it wasn't the stomach bug.
no, well, one of them did throw up a
Okay.
couple of times, but nobody else did. Praise the Lord. Um,
Literally on my gratitude list this morning was no one got sick in the night.
hey, I know. I
It's like there's a
still get
rumor of the stomach bugs going around. I'm like, no.
I know, 'tis the season, and I'm like,
Yeah.
please, like, yeah. So I am right now. I am pregnant with my 10th child. I'm due in a month, about I don't know, somewhere in there. And
Now,
yes,
are all of your children biological? I can't. I feel like you have one
they
adopted.
are.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
they're all biological, and I have a set of triplets. My
That's what is
Yes,
going
that's
on.
what's there's a little bit of difference in there because I have a set of triplets. So my oldest daughter is 14, and then I had triplet daughters who are they're coming up on 12.
You
And so
basically have like four less two and under.
yes, I had 4 children, 2 and under when they were born. Yeah. And
Oh
then
my,
I had
I'm kind
5
of just
children,
hyperventilated.
4 and under. I had 5, 4 and under, and then I had 6, I think they were 6 and under. It was like crazy because it's about every 2 years, every 18 months to 2 years, I've had kids. Also, side note, I had several years of infertility before we had our first. And
So were your triplets, were they all natural
they
or
were 1 round of medication to help me ovulate.
okay?
That was actually a newer medicine. It had been on the market for about 5 years, and my doctor was adamant, like it would not increase my chances of multiples, blah, 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 blah. He didn't think that it would work. He said,
Uh-huh.
round 1, he said, I don't even expect you to ovulate this month. We're starting with the lowest possible doses, and we'll just bump it up each month and see what happens. And I came back pregnant with triplets, and they were all stunned. And we had prayed for so many years to have children. that we were like, stop apologizing. This is
Yeah.
awesome. We were so excited.
Oh,
And
and like, are they identical or for like, was everybody?
they're fraternal. They were
Okay.
three separate. They're very different personalities, body types, hair color. It's all different. It's so cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Were
And
they,
so
how far did you get with them?
33 weeks, 2 days. I know.
That is far.
It's really far. My doctor's goal for me was 32 weeks and I made it to 33 in 2 days.
Were
So
were you on bed rest or were you in the hospital
I
or?
was on partial bed rest and I was only hospitalized overnight once to give me steroids to help their lungs develop.
Right. And how long did they stay in the NICU?
Two of them were there for 4 weeks and one was there for 6. So
That is
it was
amazing.
like they all came home before their actual due date. And they were there. It's just amazing, really, the way that God has worked all of it out. And then our specialists, like our fertility specialist and our maternal fetal medicine doctor, they had told us like I would never get pregnant on my own. I would always need help ovulating, blah, blah, blah. And we have not, since the triplets,
100 children later.
I know, right? Since the triplets, we have not had any fertility help at all.
Oh my goodness. That
So
is
God is
so
amazing.
fun.
He's always bigger. He's always better. And he shows up and shows off. But I always write when I go to somebody's wedding and they have like one of those things that you write advice to the couple on.
Yeah.
I always write, be careful what you pray for. Because God shows up in big ways.
Oh my gosh. I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was a fun little side chat. You never know what you're going to get here. We always talk all the things. So, okay. So you have all the children.
Mhm.
You're pregnant now.
Yes.
Now I feel like I want to ask you, like, are y'all finished or are we just like leaving it in the Lord's hands?
We have, that's our conviction has been, let God be in control of this because we've never have been.
Oh my gosh. I love it. Okay.
So I don't know.
And like, I'm already thinking about the next mastermind event. And I'm like, oh, does the baby get to come? Because I will totally like
probably.
have him or her on my hip while teaching.
Well, that may happen.
Okay. So all that to say, fast forward, many children later, one in the womb, and you are now a Christian life coach.
Yes.
How did you get there?
Well, I recognized the value of coaching probably about somewhere in the 3 to 4 years ago range. And gosh, I don't know, I would have had fewer children at that point. And I hired a personal coach, a one-on-one coach.
Yeah.
After I had a dream that I was supposed to become a coach. I had a very vivid I had never had a dream from the Holy Spirit before, but I'm telling you, it was a Holy Spirit dream.
Oh, wow.
And it was like the Lord showed me that there was a mom in the dream that I was helping. And it was almost like I was outside of myself and the Lord was telling me, you are her and you are you. It's time to step into the new you that helps moms.
Oh, wow.
And it was very like, I know I won't tell you the whole dream, but it was very vivid. And as I was praying through it, like I woke up crying. I was very, very real. And I woke up talking to the Lord about it, like, explain to me what that was. Like, how do I help other moms? And coincidentally, not a coincidence at all. My focus was completely pointed to life coaching, Christian life coaching.
Right.
And I realized very rapidly that very morning, like, this is what God's calling me to. And so I decided I needed to hire a coach myself and understand the process and see what it was like and like fix some of my own mess. And then I was certified through Covenant Coach Academy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, side note, you had mentioned that to me and I was like, I got to look into this. What is this Covenant Coach Academy?
Covenant Coach Academy was really, it was one of the only Christian life coach programs that I had found.
Yeah.
And it was also the place that had certified the lady that I hired as my personal life coach. And so I asked her for details about it and she kind of helped to get me plugged in.
Yeah.
And so I had a newborn when I began certification. That was is that right? Yeah. But yes, I had a newborn. I started certification with like a 3-month-old.
Wow.
And so I completed the certification and I started immediately, and it's been nothing but a blessing. Nothing
Mhm.
but a
And so
blessing.
that was how many newborns ago? How long ago was that?
Just one. It was my last newborn. I've been coaching. I have been personal one-on-one coaching for about 16, 17 months now.
Okay. And then your one-on-one coach, how
Mhm.
long after you started working with her were you like getting into certification?
3 months.
Okay.
I
Okay.
did. It might have been 4,
Yeah.
just the timing of things, but I hired her for a 12-month session, or
Mhm.
12 week, not 12 months, 12-week session.
Okay.
And then it was like, yes, like this, I'm doing this.
How'd you find her?
Um, we, how did I find her? She's a member of Young Living. I'm a member of Young Living. We happen to be on the same team. She was a mom that she has 7 kids. She was homeschooling. I saw her transition from not being a life coach into being a life coach. And I was like, what is different? What are you doing? Like I saw this whole transformation
Wow.
take place.
Mhm.
And I've also been at several in-person events with her. We live about 2.5 hours away from each other.
Okay.
And so I kind of knew her in real life, but also online.
Yeah.
And I just loved her. I loved her energy, loved her spirit, loved her hope, her peace, all of
Yeah.
that. And I was like, I want what she has.
Oh
Tell
my
me about it.
gosh. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I'm putting on some oils right now, but I won't tell you what brand they are.
It's okay. No judgment here.
Oh, good. Oh,
Yeah.
good.
So
Okay.
I
So,
should tell you, my coach was Maureen Spell. Mo. She goes by Mo, and I love her dearly. And she's doing amazing things in the coaching and Christian business world as well. And so shout out to Mo. I love you, Mo. That
oh, that's
kickstarted a whole lot of amazing things in my life. And it's so amazing to see the way that moms can impact each other.
right.
And we just keep growing the impact. It's so beautiful the way that the Lord works and puts our just like shapes all the situations and all the circumstances to work together and bring so much
Oh,
good.
like how all things work together for our good and for his
Yeah,
glory.
kind of like that. One of my favorite verses. Yeah.
Okay. So you started your certification, and how long was your certification process that you went through with?
It was about 4 months.
Okay. And then did you wait until you were finished to start coaching others?
I started coaching others before I was certified.
Okay. And then what?
And then for about a year,
Mm-hmm.
it was about a year that I kind of fumbled along trying out different things. And um, I think I've been in life mentoring school with Dr. Edie Wadsworth since the beginning, since
Okay.
she just began it 3 years ago. And I stumbled upon you through her,
Oh,
and I signed up to start getting your emails, and I watched some of your videos, and I was at some of the little retreat days, with life mentoring school
uh-huh.
where you were a guest speaker. And there were so many things that you said that were resonating with me. And I was like, oh my gosh, I know I want to grow my business, but I'm not quite sure the next steps to take.
Oh.
And I
What were some of
realized,
those things? What were some of those things?
well, I realized very quickly that I hadn't set boundaries really for myself.
Okay.
I had Okay, so as a mom of so many kids, I have this tendency, and I think so many moms, I know all of my clients deal with this too. We feel pulled in a million different directions,
Mhm.
and we're always available. We
Mhm.
make ourselves available for whatever comes up, whenever it comes up. And it's like it's this mom thing
Mhm.
where we almost feel guilty if we don't do all the things, right?
Mhm.
But when we don't set boundaries, it does not benefit our families. It doesn't benefit our businesses. It
Right.
doesn't benefit our own personal energy and health.
Right.
So I was coming to the end of my first 12 months of one-on-one coaching, realizing I'm like feeling very low energy, feeling kind of confused, like what's going on? Do I really want to continue this? Is this what's best for my family?
Mhm.
And when I heard you talking about maintaining your biblical values as a mom and as a wife and letting that be your priority, and also it's both, and it doesn't have to be one or the other.
Right.
It's doing, it's keeping your priorities straight and building this dream that the Lord has given you. And I was like, yes, yes, that's what I want. Like, that was the whole point of me becoming a coach. I knew that the Lord had called me to this work, but the work wasn't working very well.
Right.
And so I knew that I needed to set more boundaries. I needed to define one offer instead of being really willy-nilly. I had been pretty willy-nilly. I had let my clients decide if they were going to meet with me for 6 weeks or 12 weeks or 24 weeks at a time.
Right.
And I was letting the clients really have more control,
Okay.
which I think it's not necessarily a problem, but also I wasn't setting boundaries for myself, which was a problem. I found myself being available to my clients. I mean, I would have clients messaging me at 10:30 at night and expecting a response, and I would feel like I had to give them the response at 10:30 at night. That's not healthy.
Right.
Not healthy. And so when I began to realize that, I was like, oh, but I've created this. Like, I did this. I gave them this expectation that that was okay. And so really, when I joined your academy, when I joined Christian Life Coach Academy, I immediately started to go, okay, what, you know what the kicker was for me was your defining success, your personal success guarantee video inside the academy.
Yeah.
That video, when I was like, okay, what does success actually look like to me?
Yeah.
What's my definition of success? And I realized I was not operating within my own values. And that changed everything. That right there was the catalyst to me going, oh, I get to choose. And I'm the one creating this. And so then I really started to define my boundaries and recognize, like, I'm willing to do this. And actually that's serving my clients better. Like, you know,
Right.
it helped me to elevate my own understanding and really begin to operate within my values.
Right. I'm so glad. So you simplified your offer. You
I
set
did.
boundaries. You decided what your actual success was going to look like. And that's what I love so much about what the Lord's called and created me to do from a financial and success perspective, is that success actually is going to look different to everyone. And they're
Yes.
going to define it very, very differently. There are women in the academy who are like, oh, I'm like a 6-figure and beyond coach. And there are coaches in the academy who are like, you know, I want to do this, but I want to do this in a way that, depending on what their seasons of life look like, is I want to make $30,000 a year doing this. Right. They just want to pay for a couple family vacations or what have you, and extracurriculars. So it's the beauty that I love so much about the academy is it's set up to come in and learn how to make your first, $3,000, $10,000, $30,000. But people are surpassing that already.
Yes.
Because you use the same things over and over.
Yes.
Well,
and it does, it helps you, I think, getting clear on this stuff, like applying what you're teaching us, like really sitting down and thinking it through and applying it. It gives us the power. Like, it's almost like we're giving you and me are giving me permission to step into it.
Right. Right.
Like, to really believe it and to go, oh yeah, I can create this. Oh yeah.
And then there's still that surrender to where it's like, but Lord, if this is not what you have, like, if this is what you have for me, if this is where you're leading me,
Right.
I'm going to take the necessary steps and thought work and ambition and drive. And, you can't just sit there. Like, it's not just going to come to you. You have to take massive action.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, we know that we can't do or have any more or less than he's created for us.
Exactly. It's beautiful. Well, I think part of it is just believing that he has something for us. Like recognizing, yeah, he has called me. He has called me and he has equipped me and he will keep equipping me. That's so much part of the mindset work that I've had to do.
Right.
Like, I know he called me to it and I'm watching him keep equipping me, and it's so beautiful. And part of that equipping is having joined the academy and then joining the mastermind. Like, I joined the mastermind, what, like 2 weeks after I joined the academy?
Is that what it was? It was like, I was like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, there's so much going on that even these little stories and like testimonials and data, I'm like, I don't even have it yet.
Well, I joined the academy at the end of June.
Okay,
And I
that's
don't
right.
remember when exactly you opened up the mastermind. I think it was like mid-July, wasn't it?
It was, but you were in for 2 weeks and that changed like so
Already
much about
massive,
business.
massive action. I took massive action. Um, I watched the 5 C's of client creation. I watched the personal success guarantee, like all the teaching videos that you have in the beginning. And then I watched several offer calls. And then I had my offer call with you and
Yep.
started implementing immediately because I knew I'm not, well, I kind of have a deadline. This baby
Yeah.
happened at the end of October. And I was like, if I want to do a 12-week session with this new offer,
Mhm.
then I need to implement right now. And
Right.
it was kind of awesome to have that already have like kind of a, like I say, a deadline, but a goal in mind, a timeline.
Yeah.
That was actually very good for me to push me into taking massive action and not really overthinking it.
Right.
Um,
Let me
but
ask
yeah,
you this. Okay, so you have the value that you invested in with the academy.
mhm,
And then in addition to that, you're like, I actually also want to invest in this mastermind.
yes.
And you just you're about to renew the mastermind for the next round. Where do you see the benefit of both? Because see, that's the type of student and client I am also. I'm like, yes, I have this investment and it's here and I learn from it, but you can invest again in
Yes.
your growth.
Yes.
What was the differentiation for you?
Well, it's
What
funny
have you
because,
gathered from the mastermind that
well, I think this is probably the story that you were gonna get to at the beginning. You're like, no, I'm gonna wait for that. But
now I've already forgotten? So
well, when I joined the mastermind, I actually waited. I tried to talk myself out of joining the mastermind because I was like, I literally just invested in the academy. I haven't even made it through all of the academy videos yet. Like, do I really want to invest more in a
Mhm.
mastermind when I've like literally just invested in the academy?
Right.
And but here's what got me. There, you said you clearly defined who the mastermind was for. This mastermind is for people who have already done XYZ and are ready to level up. Like, it's for you if you made it very clear, like if you've already done these things and this is your next step,
Mhm.
then this mastermind is for you. And I fit every single thing that you defined. I fit every single one of them. And I
Oh my
was
God.
like, I know this is for me, but I hesitated. And so actually I missed the deadline to apply. And I
Mhm.
messaged you about, well, it was right before the mastermind was set to begin. And I said, Amberly, if you felt like you were supposed to have
Story
one
was
person
so
in the
funny. Yeah.
mastermind, it was me. I did not obey. Like I knew the Holy Spirit was prompting me to do it, but I didn't obey. I hesitated. Like I didn't make the decision right away.
Mhm.
But then I was like, I will kick myself if I don't ask, if I don't just reach out and say, I would really love to join. I think I'm supposed to be in it. I would really regret it if I didn't just ask, what's the worst that could happen? I coached myself through it and said, what's the worst that could happen? The deadline has already passed. If she says no, I'm out nothing. But if she says yes, what could happen? Like
I know, and I
what?
think we had been going for like a week, and I was like, "Well, we've been going for a week," and you're like, "I don't ca it's fine."
I know. I was like, I know I'm late. I fully take responsibility, but I really think I'm supposed to be a part of it. And
Mhm.
your response to me was actually, it was really funny. You were like, I love you so much. I was like, oh, shoo. I was
She's
like,
not mad at me. Oh my gosh. So, okay, so then tell us about the mastermind. What has been your experience? Why are you renewing? What makes you want to be in both rooms? The
okay.
academy and
So
the mastermind.
the beautiful thing is I love the weekly coaching inside the academy.
Mhm.
It's so valuable to watch other people be coached and to have the availability to be coached myself if I need it. You know,
Uh-huh.
to get that one-on-one coaching is so valuable because we're all alike
Right.
and we can learn something from every single person.
Right.
The mastermind is the next level. It's people who are already taking massive action in their business,
Mhm.
who are already it's like getting, I guess I feel a deep sense of camaraderie with the
Mhm.
people in the mastermind because we are operating in that similar places within our business. And again, we can all learn from each other. I'm learning tons from the other ladies that are in the mastermind because we are committed. We're so committed and driven. And I love that.
Well, can I interrupt you for a second?
Yes, of course.
I don't want you to lose your train of thought. We're operating on like brains of 15 children between the two of us.
I know, right?
Thoughts escape and they do not return. It's like, oh no, I shouldn't have interrupted you. But it's interesting that you say that, because my original plan for the mastermind did have an income filter. And then when I realized, especially since everyone who's in the mastermind currently has also been in the academy, that it's so new and businesses were so new that some people still had not met that income bracket, but they wanted the accountability and the container to take more massive action. And what's interesting is a handful of the people in the mastermind still are waiting to make their first dollars in their business. But there is a different conversation that happens in that roundtable discussion where people are just really going deeper with the and getting very honest and transparent and vulnerable about the thoughts that are standing in the way. And so the thoughts that stand in the way from someone starting are very similar to the thoughts that stand in the way for someone like you or someone like me and Shelly, who have made a lot of money in our businesses. They're going to pop back up. And so I was uncertain about it. In some ways I was testing it. I just wanted to see. And how did we have 8 or 9? 8. All but one are renewing. And the only reason why the other person isn't renewing is because she's still teaching full time and she can't make the calls. And so it just doesn't make sense for her to just constantly be having the replays. And she's pretty much reached her full load of what she's able to do full time. And so I don't think she's renewing. I haven't heard from her if she is, but so basically, even in the way that it's being delivered, the one-on-one support and those group calls led to a like 88% conversion. I mean, even for the people who still didn't make back that investment, they're like, I have to keep doing this.
Yes. Well, okay. So I'm going to read to you. I had a friend who's in the academy, a friend of mine from certification. She joined the academy after I talked to her about it. And she messaged me a couple days ago and she said, we're coming up on like the mastermind. There's applications. I've really been considering it. Her hesitation is that it's through the holiday season. And she's concerned about like, am I going to be able
to? Not. We won't meet over Thanksgiving and we won't meet.
I said, that's what I told her. I was like, guess what? I don't think that Amberly is going to take time away from like, we'll like, that will be accounted for. And she was like, okay, great. But she said to me, what has been the biggest takeaway from doing the mastermind? Her question was great. And I want to read you my response because this is like, okay. So I said the accountability and the specific business coaching, like really digging into your business has been really fantastic. It's been so fantastic. I said, I love that I can ask questions anytime of Amberly and she's asking me good questions right back. So thank you, coach. Thank you, coach. I said, it's made me realize that I'm really hard on myself and I hold myself back. Like I'm holding me back. I'm capable of a lot more than I tend to think. And I also have a whole lot of very gigantic expectations for myself that aren't realistic. It's opened my eyes to a lot of the pieces of me that I get to still work on as I grow my business. So I said, the mastermind has helped me realize that I need to rein it in, get really clear on what I want and expect and implement from a place of belief. I love so much that we're constantly talking about what we believe. And like for me, the mastermind has been eye-opening to myself. I know I think maybe this is a mom thing. We tend to look at other people. We're looking at
compare and despair. It'll get you every time.
Yes, there's that. And then there's the like the focus on what we're not doing rather than what we are doing. It's just helped me to really focus in on like, no, I'm actually creating whatever, like We are creating what we're thinking about. We're creating what we choose to focus on. It grows. It really does grow.
Right.
And your questions and the accountability of keeping up with self-coaching daily and listening to the other ladies who, like you said, we're all focused on thoughts. We're
Mhm.
focused on our beliefs. We're focused on what we're creating.
Mhm.
And it's been so helpful for me to have the accountability of doing the coaching myself.
Right. Yeah.
Like that is invaluable. The more that we practice, the more that we're willing to go first, the more that we're willing to be vulnerable, the
Mhm.
better we become at everything we do in life, be
Right.
it our role as a mom, our role as a daughter, our role as a coach. It's
Mhm.
helping me improve in all the ways. And I'm so thankful for that. And I guess I recognize the reason that I want to re-up and continue this is because I love the accountability.
Yeah.
It's super helpful. And I love seeing that, yes, again, being reminded we're all the same. Even
Mhm.
those of us who are at different, like you said, different income levels in our business,
Mhm.
the same thoughts, the same things keep popping up for each of us, the same feelings. Really, it's the feelings. The feelings are all the same.
Right.
Mhm.
It's so interesting you say that because another advantage that I see in the mastermind when we're coaching on this level is that for me, and this is the way I approach the containers and the investments that I make in terms of business coaching or any other form of coaching, is when I am hearing someone else be coached that may not be in my income bracket. They may be, kind of an underdog at a less income bracket, what have you. When when I'm hearing them coach, first of all, I'm going to be able to relate to it in some way.
Mhm.
I was
Always.
like weeping listening to a coaching call yesterday of some colleagues, and I think we're probably like right at the same income bracket. And so much of what they're sharing, I'm like, oh, yep, 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 me too, me too, me too. But then the ones who are trying to make their first like $25,000, I'm
Mhm.
like, for me, as a coach, but anyone, right? What you and I hear when we hear other people being coached is always something that we can take for our own personal clients, right? So even if it's not something that we are relating to in that moment, we will know someone who is, and we have
Absolutely.
takeaways to bring back and offer. So that's why when you continually invest in your business and in your coaching and your growth, not only does it refine you and your thoughts and your own coaching and the things that you're personally working on. Now I'm losing my train of thought. It refines your coaching because you're learning more coaching
Yes.
skills.
Yes. And honestly, it like hearing the questions and reading the questions um, through Voxer that you have been asking me has
Mhm.
helped me go, oh yeah, that's a great question. I can ask myself, I can ask my clients,
Yes.
oh, this is it. We always love powerful questions, right? As coaches, we want more
Right.
powerful questions. And I've gleaned a lot of really great questions and just, oh, like, let's just step back and look at this from the 40,000 foot view. I do feel like I have increased my capabilities as a coach by being
Mhm.
coached. So
Mhm.
thank you for that too. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I haven't said, and I think this is worth saying,
Right.
I also have had the most productive quarter ever since I joined the academy and the mastermind.
Oh my gosh, that like gave me
Like, yeah.
chills. Tell me about it. What do you mean? Tell us all
Well,
the evidence.
in the first 12 months of coaching, as I
Mhm.
was like testing the water and trying to figure out, and I didn't really have clarity about my offer. I mean, I had an offer, but like I said, I had given a lot of power to the client to make decisions about that. And I hadn't set boundaries. Okay, so I had made about $14,000 in the first 12 months of coaching
Mhm.
at just doing very part-time. And within a month of joining the academy and 2 weeks of joining the mastermind, I had made $8,200 as a coach.
Whoa.
Yeah. So like, so I am approaching the $25,000 mark right now.
Yeah.
And it's really exciting, like to see, just in a very short period of time from implementing the things that I've been learning, like the month of July, the month of August, it was like boom, 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 boom. A lot of good, positive things happened. It's been great. So there's that too. I want that to continue. And I
Yeah.
recognize like when I'm willing to put in the work, there are blessings on the other side of that too, right?
Right.
And so
Right.
I want to increase. I want to expand. I want the kingdom to be impacted greatly. And I recognize that I have to be willing to be uncomfortable and keep going. And I have to be willing to invest. I have to give the seed of investment for something more to grow. I'm recognizing all of that.
That's so interesting. There is such a direct correlation
Yes.
of the students who are struggling to make money in their business when they, and not just in the academy, but in general, coaches who are not willing to invest in business coaching. I'm like, that's why you don't have clients. You are setting the tone of fear of investment.
Yes.
Unwillingness to invest, trying to figure it out on your own. That's what your prospective clients are doing.
Exactly.
Also. And so you actually have to walk that out. You have to take the risk. You have to be uncomfortable and be willing to make that investment for yourself and for your business.
Yes.
And that's going to change how you show up for your prospective clients.
Absolutely. And again, it goes back to that thing we always say, we go first.
Yep.
We go first. Like I have to be willing to invest first
when you do that.
Yes.
I'm like, what you're missing in your marketing is the actual transformation of doing that first.
Right.
Because you can have all the certification. You can have all the X, Y, or Z. But if you don't have the transformation, then you're missing the point. I mean, you're missing the, what am I trying to say here? You're missing the piece that is going to change the way you show up and communicate.
Absolutely. Yep. And so it play out.
Yeah. So what's your plan in terms of maternity, baby, newborn?
Well, I'm trying to get clear on that. That's something that I'm still working on. The beautiful thing is I know that I have the tools to have a newborn and still continue. Like having a newborn doesn't mean that life stops, right? Life keeps going on. And I've done this a time or two. But I also know the beauty of rest. And I know how valuable that initial time is. And you know, that initial postpartum time is it's just so beautiful. And so my tentative plan is to continue investing in myself and my self-coaching all through that time, because I know all the feelings that are going to come up when I have a newborn. we know that very well, don't we? We know how there's that emotional kind of roller coaster, but I know how to ride it now. I know how to feel my feelings and process it. And so I will still have a few clients that will be continuing, and I'm absolutely confident that I can take an hour out of my day. I can nurse a baby while I'm on a call. Nobody they can see me from the shoulders. We're fine. Right. I'm not worried. I know I can show up fully, even with little sleep. Like, it's okay.
And also when you have demand and when you're overselling and when you're building demand, you can actually sell ahead of time.
Right. And
they
so
can actually go ahead and pay you and then start in January or February or whatever.
Right. And I think that's where I'm headed. I'm headed into a season of building up a wait list and starting with people probably after the holidays. So give myself some rest. I will finish up with my current load of clients and just be working toward starting new with the new year probably. Because that would give me, if the baby arrives somewhere around the beginning of November, that'll give me like an 8-week maternity leave, which is great. Like, that would be beautiful. But also I can still continue to add value and build a wait list and all of that stuff.
Right. And you can be working on so many things behind the scenes as it relates to getting really, really clear on your messaging, clean up some content, like things that can be like in pajamas, in the bed,
right?
You know, like that part of your business, because, and you hear me say this all the time, if you 5X your business, you're 5Xing what's going on behind the scenes.
Right. Yeah. So, and I do feel like this is the kind of a perfect season to do that, to really look at marketing and emails and that kind of stuff. I will still be homeschooling the majority of my children.
Oh my gosh. my like stomach keeps sinking with everything you say.
I know, right? So like my husband is planning to be off for 2 weeks after the baby is born, which is great. I'm really looking forward to that. So he'll be here for that first 2 weeks. And then after that, I'll take back over with most of the homeschooling responsibility. And, but it's so beautiful because, you know, I can sit at the table holding a baby and teaching lessons. And it's not like my kids are used to that. We've already been there, done that. So
Right. And I remember, I mean, I haven't had any little ones in a long time, but I do but side note, I'm always like with my clients and students that like have babies, I'm like, you can only Voxer me when when the baby's nursing so I can like hear it.
I love
Like
it.
that's the only rule. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's the most precious.
It really
But
is.
anyway, then the beauty of still having some older siblings at home is like they like want to hold the baby. They
Yes,
want to change the baby's
I
diaper.
love
And
it.
it's like such a sweet, sweet time. And
It really is.
yes, you're adding one more, but in so many ways, you have way more help, if you will, than you had when you had those 2 and under.
Right.
You
Yes.
have like the older ones that can,
It's such a gift.
yeah,
Siblings are an incredible gift. I love that my older kids they're so excited. They can't wait for the baby to be born. And they're so helpful. I don't expect a lot of help from them, but I welcome it.
right. Yeah. Like they're not getting it. They're not doing everything. My
Right.
kids keep trying to convince us to adopt again. They're like, Mom, we will get up in the night. We'll do
We'll help you.
everything. I'm like, well, we just had a trial run with puppies.
Yeah,
And
that
so
didn't work.
y'all are all fired.
I
No,
totally
they've
get it.
actually done great, but and I'm sure it would be different if it were a human, duh.
Right.
But no. Okay,
No, it's
so
beautiful.
my last little question for you is what do you we're nearing October, you're nearing, taking some time off from a full client load. You're going to do
Yes.
some selling ahead of time, which is a concept we talk about. So what is your goal in terms of revenue? Like what do you plan to kind of finish out with in 2022? And then what do you want to work on as a revenue goal for 2023?
Well, like I said, I'm coming up on $25,000 total since I began coaching. I would love to finalize that, hit it by the end of 2022.
Well, what's the gap there to hit the 25K total?
It's not very much. It's like maybe $1,000.
Okay.
I mean, I'm really close.
Mhm.
And so,
Okay, so just like when we get to that point, we just round up. So you've already done that.
I've already done that.
Like I did
Yeah.
192
Uh-huh.
and I was like, am I gonna like really stress out over it was like 192.5. I
Yeah.
was like, am I gonna really stress out over $7,500? And
Right.
then
Or
I
can
hit
I
some
just say I
coaching
hit
on
the
it.
two?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was like, no, that's 200. You've
That's
done
just,
200.
okay.
I
I've
was like,
done
I
25,000.
have. Oh my gosh. Okay, so you've done
I've done
25K.
25,000.
You've
Yay.
done 25K. Okay.
Celebrate.
Yes.
So here's my thing. I know that there is no rush.
Mhm.
And so one of my big goals is to be present
Mhm.
and not put pressure on myself to rush. Like
Mhm.
it's totally okay.
Mhm.
I would absolutely love for the next um the next 3 quarters, I
Mhm.
would love to hit 75,000 and like push this into 100K.
So you're talking about, do you want to do 75K in quarter 4 of this year and then quarter
No,
1 of
quarter
quarter
1, 2,
2?
3 of next. So really my goal is to hit 100K next year. Like
You're wanting to do
year
like 25K
2023.
a quarter.
Right. I would love to be about 25K a quarter. That's where I would love to be.
Because
And
I really want to emphasize this and I want everyone to hear this and this is why I teach you how to make your first $3,000 and really your first $5,000 is because once you do that, like, right, like I have learned to make the same amount of money faster,
yes.
right?
Yes,
So like,
please.
right. So like you've done 25,000, you're like,
Right.
oh, okay. I know I can do that.
Yes.
Now I'm just going to repeat it. Now I'm just going to do it in a shorter time frame
Mhm.
and I'm going to repeat it 3 times.
Yes.
And when you allow yourself to see it that way, you're like, oh, it makes perfect
Oh,
sense.
yeah.
It's not as stressful. It's not as
Right. And I want to do it from a place of peace.
Mhm.
I really do. I'm like, I want to live in this position of peace where I'm just going about the same. It's okay. Like I'm still homeschooling. I've got the baby. I've got, right.
So
I'm
how
still
many
doing it.
clients is a full load for you?
Right now, a full load has been 8 clients.
Okay.
I believe that in quarter 1 of 2023, I could up that to 10.
So you're doing now I'm like looking at your current offer.
I
I'm
know,
like,
right?
does the math on this revenue goal actually work? Let's see.
Yeah, it
Then
does.
are
I've
you
looked
gonna
at
do like it
it.
doesn't?
It does. I've looked at it.
Oh, okay. So are you 2,500 for 12 weeks?
No, right now I've been at 2,400 for 12 weeks.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So
So
you're there. Yeah.
yeah, I'm there.
So you're gonna have 10 clients in quarter 1 at 2,500 for 12 weeks. Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like
Fun.
exciting because
And
I
like the
really
beauty
believe
about that for
myself.
you, and I love that you're gonna keep that simple offer
Mhm.
for essentially a year.
Yeah.
Because then rather than spending so much time in mental drama over your pricing, you've already decided what that is. And so then you're just going to get clearer and clearer and clearer on your messaging where you're defining their problem, defining the solution, and saying it 100 different ways.
Yes.
And then you're like working on that rather than your packaging and your pricing and your offer.
Exactly. Honestly, when we had our offer call, I felt like a huge weight was lifted off of me. It was like, okay, that just it's once and done. You decide, and then you just keep implementing the same thing over and over and over again. It's very much, it was very much of a weight lifted off of me once I made the decision. And I was like, oh, this is so simple. I've made it so complicated.
Right.
I
I
made
love
it so
it.
complicated, but it's so simple. And now I feel the simplicity of that, and it's very freeing.
Good.
Go, okay, now I have the brain space. Instead of always trying to decide on an offer, I have the brain space to now just really present the offer
Yeah.
and get really clear on that. So yeah, I'm excited to hone in on the messaging and
Yeah.
make coaching accessible. You know, like really clearly define what I expect from clients, what I expect for myself, and the results that we get from coaching.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Oh my gosh. Well, I've loved this so much.
Thank you, me too.
So much for being here and for this conversation. That was so fun. I'm like, oh, we might even have to break it into 2 parts. We'll have to see.
Hey.
But anyway, I love working with you. You make me laugh, you make me smile. Your ambition and your heart for serving the women that God's called and created you to while serving all the many people in your family is just a tremendous testimony. And
Thank you.
I just
No, I can say ditto. Ditto.
well, good.
I feel so blessed. I feel so blessed to be part of this. And I am so thankful that our paths crossed. You know, again, it's just one of those God incidences.
I know. I love it so much.
Yeah.
Well, let me stop this.
All right.
Oh my goodness. So we stopped the recording and Katy and I were just kind of like finishing up some conversation. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't tell people where they could find you. And y'all, guess what? Katy is just living proof that you can make a significant amount of money in a coaching business without even having a website, which side note, I do teach you how to do that in the academy, just as a bonus. But Katy, and then you went on to say something. I was like, oh, we got to record that. You were like something about simple or something.
I'm keeping it so simple. I bought a website domain, but I've not put anything on it yet because I've gotten all my clients from Facebook and word of mouth.
Oh my gosh. Thank you.
It's so beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. This is what we talk about in the academy all day long. Yes. Okay. In addition to that, however, so because here's the deal, there are people who listen to this podcast that may have a coaching business.
Yes.
They may not. They may just be wanting to know more about Christian life coaching. And they may be like, oh gosh, I really want a life coach. So I always like to, when I interview y'all, to share where people can find you because they may be just looking for a life coach.
Yes.
Okay. So where can they find you?
They can find me as Katy Frankie on Facebook. Katy. It's with a Y. And Frankie is with an IE. Katy Frankie on Facebook. And honestly, I do have some, I have a scheduler link to set up a consultation call with me, which is just a free chat to see if we're a good fit with one another for life coaching. And I can send that. But yeah, the easiest way is just on Facebook. I do have an Instagram account. I'm not super active over there, but the beauty of it is I've kept it super simple for myself. And so during this postpartum season, that's when I will probably develop a website and, do several of the things that we taught in the business basics course inside of the academy. I have not had the bandwidth to implement all of that yet because I am, an elephant in the 18th month of pregnancy and homeschooling my kids and all of that stuff. But yeah, this will be the season for me to implement that as I step into growing my business even more.
And that's why I love so much that you did decide to renew with the mastermind, is because these are the things you and I will be working on through Voxer one-on-one as you're working on those things.
Yes.
So that was definitely a perfect decision for you. So
Yay. Good.
okay, well, I will officially talk to you later, and I will, if you can send me your actual profile link on Facebook, we'll post that in the show notes. Okay.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
All right. Bye.
Bye.